He documents a decade-long increase in the number of men who have incurable prostate cancer at their initial diagnosis. It is an ominous finding that prostate cancer screening proponents have been predicting. This new analysis is the first to find an increase in metastatic cancers. Despite less testing, death rates have been falling since 2007. These findings are not without controversy. Let's find out why. Dr. Ali Kazrayan from Kazrayan Urology joins us back here on the morning show. All right, the report considers whether a recent trend of fewer men being screened may contribute to the rise. We're talking about a 72% increase in the past decade, or whether the disease has become more aggressive, or both. Your take.
So it's probably a little bit of both. So the way to kind of think about this, this study looked at more than 700,000 men from 2004 to 2013. Great study, over 1,000 institutions. And what they found was a significant increase in the amount of men who had metastatic disease at diagnosis. And that's a big thing that we worry about as urologists. The reason we screen, the reason we do biopsies, the reason we treat prostate cancer is to avoid just this, because metastatic prostate cancer, unfortunately, even with all the advances in science we have in 2016, we don't have a cure for it. But one thing for the audience to take when you look at this, the absolute numbers of this are small. Only 3% of the men in this big study had metastatic disease. When you compare the numbers from 2013, where 2,800 men had metastatic disease, in 2004, it's about 1,600 men. So the absolute numbers aren't large. However, it does represent a trend, and that's a concerning thing when you put, since the U.S. Preventative Services Task Force Against Prostate Cancer Screening, us as urologists worry that the 18% decrease trends in screening, the decreased biopsy numbers, the 30% decrease in the discovery or diagnosis of prostate cancer may translate into this, more metastatic.
Is that why the American Cancer Society is not happy with the study?
So the American Cancer Society mentions that if you look at the absolute numbers, they're not big. Only 3% of the men in this study actually had metastatic disease. So it's not a huge shift where everyone in this study had metastatic disease. But what we worry about as urologists, that it represents a shift in the trend where less doctors are screening, and it could potentially translate into this. My take on this is this: whether it's because the disease is becoming more aggressive or that more primary care doctors are screening less, I think if we as a community of patients and doctors really take on a conversation about appropriate, balanced, and common sense approach to screening, where you talk to your doctor about getting a rectal exam and a PSA strip. You start in your mid-40s, see what your PSA is. Based on that, you have a timed approach where every couple of years you get a PSA test and a rectal exam. You can balance this where we don't lose where the controversies for overdiagnosis and treatment, where we're worried about overdiagnosing these low-risk, low-volume prostate cancers may not kill people. By trying to avoid that, we don't lose the opportunity to cure these intermediate and high-risk disease in a window of time where we can cure them when we catch them appropriately.
So what you're saying is there's a nationwide need for refinement of prostate screening.
Absolutely.
Because you mentioned metastatic cancer, prostate cancer is not curable, it's incurable, and people will die.
Metastatic disease is not curable. And the way I talk to patients about this is that there are 4 types of prostate cancer. There are rockets, rabbits, turtles, and snails. Rockets are these metastatic disease which, if at diagnosis, they're not curable. Rabbits are the cancers where they're confined to the prostate, but they have some aggressive tendencies where if they're not cured, if they're not treated, they could potentially become metastatic in the future. Those are the cancers that we want to catch. That is where screening shines, where we catch the cancers, we can treat them, and we're better than 90–95% curative. Turtles and snails are where the controversies lie. So to avoid the turtles and snails, we don't want to just throw screening out and avoid catching the rabbits.
Progressively slower turtles and snails.
So we want to make sure that we screen. Screening can save lives, so you want to do it appropriately.
All right, Doc, thanks. For the latest health headlines and to watch this interview again, go to newsforjax.com. Time check is 8:17.